We're approaching the Chag of Pesach, and we know that the Navi says at the time before Yetzias Mitzrayim, V'hinei itech eis doidim, it was the time of closeness, of kurva, the Ribono Shel Olam to Klal Yisrael, the time to redeem them from Mitzrayim. Va'at eram ve'erya, but you were empty, you didn't have any zchuyos, any mitzvahs to be worthy of being redeemed and taken out of Mitzrayim. So the Ribono Shel Olam gave us two mitzvahs. Ve'erech misboiseses b'damayech, va'omer lach b'damayech chayi, va'omer lach b'damayech chayi. The Ribono Shel Olam gave us two mitzvahs, the mitzvah of Dam Pesach, of the Korban Pesach, and Dam Milah. And with these two mitzvahs, we became worthy of being redeemed from Mitzrayim. But it seems to be a puzzle. We know from other sources that Klal Yisrael indeed had many great zchuyos. B'schus dalet dvorim nigolim Mitzrayim, v'loishinu es l'shoinam es shmam. They didn't change their language, their names. Medrash says also the clothing. They were not prutzim ba'arayas. They didn't speak lashon hara. Who can say on any generation that they didn't speak lashon hara? That wasn't enough. Furthermore, the Gemara in Saita says that b'schus nashim tzidkonis nigalim Mitzrayim. They were worthy of being redeemed from Mitzrayim with the schus of the nashim tzidkonis. They were meiser nefesh, to raise families, to be chazik their husbands, in spite of the fact that the Mitzrim took their babies, threw them into the river, killed their babies, they nevertheless persevered. How many generations can say they had Nashim Tzidkonius like that? The Gemara also says that from the time of the Avos, Loi Pascha Yeshiva, that Klal Yisrael were learning Torah. They were in Mitzrayim, Loi Pascha Yeshiva Mehem. They were Mamid, Balti Midrashim. They learned Torah under the most trying of circumstances. The most difficult circumstances, they learned Torah. So what does it mean that they had no zchuyas? What does it mean that they were empty and they had nothing to redeem them with? Perhaps we can say that they had zchuyas, they had great zchuyas, but to be redeemed from Mitzrayim, to become the Am Hashem, to stand by Har Sinai, to hear the Ribono Shel Olam, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, to be the Am Hashem, they need more than zchuyas. They had to detach themselves from Mitzrayim. They were shkuim in the Memtes Sharei Tumah, even though they had these zchuyas, but they were part of the culture of Mitzrayim. The culture of Mitzrayim seeped into them. That's what they were attached to. Hashem, the Ribono Shel Olam, looks at them and says, look at this nation. Ba'at eram ve'erya. This is not an Am Hashem. This is not my people. This is not a nation that can stand on Har Sinai and listen to Anochi Hashem Elokecha. They needed two mitzvahs to detach themselves from Mitzrayim. Dam Pesach, to take the Avodah Zorah of Mitzrayim and shecht it in front of their eyes, to divorce themselves from this Avodah Zorah of Mitzrayim. Dam Milah, to detach themselves from the taivas, the znus, the tum of Mitzrayim. These two mitzvahs, the only two that from the non-performance of them there is an einish of kores. Kores, which if a person does not keep these mitzvahs, chas v'shalom, he is detached from Am Yisrael. But if he does, he's attached to Am Yisrael, he's attached to the Ribono Shel Olam. They needed specifically these two mitzvahs to detach themselves from the Memtes Sharei Tumah and become the Am Hashem. We see a similar concept in Purim. We just celebrated the Chag of Purim, and Chazal teach us that what was the punishment of Klal Yisrael, that they were deserving this fear of Haman. Shenenu misudasan shaloisa rasha. They had hana, benefit, enjoyment from the Suda of Oisa Rasha. What was so terrible that they enjoyed that Suda of Achashverosh? What was the terrible crime? The Sfarim say it wasn't because of Macholas Asuras. It's a siman. It demonstrated, it showed that if they were capable of having hana, enjoying that Suda, a Suda of Leitzonos, a Suda of Pritzus, a Suda of Tuma, if they were capable of enjoying that Suda, that demonstrated the level that they were at, the low level that they were at. Furthermore, that was a Suda that they brought out the Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash. They brought the Kalim of the Heilige Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash, they defiled them. They brought it out into that Suda, making a mockery of them. The greatest Chilul Hashem. If they were capable of having Hana from that Suda's Chilul Hashem, that demonstrated how much they were part of that culture of Achashverosh. And that's why they had to have that fear of Haman, to detach themselves. And just as Yetzias Mitzrayim was a precursor to Kabbalas HaTorah, and that nituk from the tomb of Mitzrayim enabled them to be Makabel Torah and Har Sinai, that fear of Haman, that nituk from the culture of Achashverosh enabled them to kima v'kibul, to be Makabel the Torah Ma'ava at the time of Purim. And when we examine and look at our generation, are things so different in our times? Baruch Hashem, B'li Ayin Hara, we have tremendous chusim. We have great chusim. But we are also surrounded by the Memtes Sharei Tumah. And are we even aware to the extent that the culture, the host culture, has seeped into our lives? Are we even aware of the portals that send through and bring through that culture into our world, and how much it is becoming part of our lives? And therefore, as we approach Pesach, the Zman of Geula, and the Zman of Dam Pesach, it's incumbent upon us to take upon ourselves, not only to become mitzvahs, zchuyas, but to try to detach ourselves from that culture, attach ourselves fully, wholeheartedly to our Torah Kedusha, our Messiah, learning Torah, but not only learning Torah with the responsibility to have the machshava of Torah and tefillah and avodah on our minds constantly, not allowing entry from foreign sources into our lives. Learning halacha, learning musa, but not only learning, making that our whole lives and the lives of our family. And Bez Hashem, the Rebbeinu Shalom should give us the siyata shmaya, and we should be zoicha to witness the geula shlema b'mehera b'meinu amen.